Hey, welcome to Ronin's Den, breaking news edition. There has been some exciting developments the last 2 weeks in the TTRPG world. First, Wizards of the Coast. We did a video a month ago, Eric. We did a video a month ago where we played out a timeline of events of Wizards of the Coast. We did a timeline of when they put AI art in the giant book, when they did an AI art ban, then they did AI art in a Magic the Gathering promo picture. Then they said, okay, we aren't going to do AI art at all. Then Chris Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, came out and said, we see an AI art future for Dungeons & Dragons. And today, they posted a listing for an AI engineer that they plan to hire.
I told you so?
Yep.
I don't...
Like... I mean, we called this a month ago. I'm kind of at a loss because the TikTok world right now is ablaze with people that are like, we can't believe Wizards of the Coast is doing this. How dare they do this? We told you. Like, why do people continue to just believe that this company is going to do the right thing? It never does.
Oh man, I said it on TikTok earlier today. It's honest. So, such a large portion of the player base of Dungeons and Dragons has the attention span of a 4-year-old hopped up on Red Bull with a kazoo in the middle of a Chuck E. Cheese. You know, all they care about is their entertainment in the moment, and anything else doesn't matter. I mean, look at Spelljammer. Look at the OGL. Look at the Pinkertons. I mean, all of these things would have been business-ending decisions for any other business had it not been Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, and Dungeons & Dragons. There are the people that are like, oh, don't put this stuff in your game because it's problematic, yet they're purchasing materials from the company who is intentionally putting that type of problematic material that they have an issue with in the game for you to purchase. It's a weird community. And that says nothing about one of the other situations we're going to talk about tonight with their hiring practices and who they keep around, which I think I'll save for you because I know this is a topic you're very passionate about.
Well, we're going to discuss that later because that's the other
later.
big news. But I believe you have some images to put up so we can go over this a little more in detail.
Absolutely. So, we have initially our video from a month ago, which I won't play because I already said. I told you so.
If you care, go look at it. It's on the Red Triangle app. It's a month ago. It says the AI future of Wizards of the Coast. We called it. The AI timeline of Wizards of the Coast. We called this. We did a whole video detailing that this was going to happen. I believe in that video we predicted that they would hire someone full-time to be an AI person at the company within the calendar year. And it was a month. It took a month.
I think one of the predictions was the next time they're going to say that they're going to use AI again was going to be in the year as well. So like we said, this is when they're going to start going into it and this is what they're going to do. But we do have one of the articles that says some fans aren't happy. It's probably the majority of fans aren't happy with this right now, but I read through it and one of the things they keep saying in this article is it's not centered around generative AI, like artwork and like composition of stories. But in a previous article, which was referenced in that other video, Chris Cox said pretty much the opposite, that they definitely see a place for AI in that capacity within Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons moving forward.
Well, and they also state in this article that they are doing it solely for their video game future.
Yeah.
Now, what they're trying to do there, in my opinion, what I think, is they're trying to replicate the success of Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was successful because they had Larian Studios working on it who do nothing but in-depth, wonderful games. They had a team of people who actually cared about the source material and wanted it to succeed and wanted it to work. They fired that whole team. That whole team is gone. Larian Studios says we're not doing another Baldur's Gate. Wizards of the Coast is in a panic mode because they fired that whole team. They don't have Larian, so they're going to switch to AI generative to do this video game, Baldur's Gate 4. The problem is, when you start to use AI, it is a slippery slope. We got away with doing a video game, they're going to buy it. Okay, they must not really care about AI. Let's start putting a little AI art in and see if they care as much as they say they do. Okay, now we can do this. It's slowly just trying to break the wall down, and it's a slippery slope, and I don't trust Wizards of the Coast to keep their word. I don't trust them to only use it on a video game. And furthermore, I don't want to play a video game that was created by an AI.
Well, and they've already proven, hey, we lie, we get caught, and then we apologize half-assed, and then say we're not going to do it again, and what do? They do it again. They're just really hoping for that extremely short attention span of people to like take over and for them never to have to deal with any repercussions for it. And it's exceptionally frustrating. Now, something else that, we didn't talk about before we started recording, but was mentioned earlier this month, and has been talked about quite a bit by people who are very pro AI dungeon masters. Using AI to be your DM to run these games. And that's something that I can fully see a company like Wizards of the Coast doing, where they want to step away from possibly producing physical books in preference of their online platforms, like One D&D, if they're going to try and do D&D Beyond type stuff, have their own proprietary desktop, insert an AI dungeon master into that, and then what do we get? We get a subscription-based version of Dungeons & Dragons. We lose an art form that we've had for 50 years where we could create things on our own to play with, just so Wizards can turn a profit and have it all be run by generative AI in the future. That's my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, but
so far our tinfoil hat conspiracy theories have all come true.
True.
Like, I like, that's not really a tinfoil hat, that's a prediction. And I truly believe that they do want to eliminate the Dungeon Master. They are probably looking at sites like Start Playing and seeing all the money that people are willing to pay for a Dungeon Master and are thinking to themselves, well, what if we have a $5.99 Dungeon Master built into our tabletop, our virtual tabletop? You no longer have to pay a human. You just pay this AI and it creates a generative story for you that's ever changing. And guess what? There's no scheduling conflict. There's so many selling points they can make on it. But is that a good thing for the community? Yeah. That's where the question that's the question I have. What is the implication of this on the entire community? Because I don't think it's good.
No, because it's going to, if it goes down that route, I want to say if, not when, but honestly, it is when as well. But going down that route, yeah, the idea of not having such scheduling conflicts is, objectively a good thing. Like, I can't deny that, right? Being able to play whenever you want. But is it the same thing? Are you playing a tabletop role-playing game, or are you just playing a computer game with extra steps? I argue that it's more of just a computer game with extra steps.
Yeah, I I have to agree with that. But
And the other thing, real
I
quick,
gotta.
the other thing that's real quick I want to get out there with this is with AI Dungeon Masters, if when it goes down that road, that is giving a company like Wizards of the Coast control over what stories can be told and how they're going to be told. A company that put out Spelljammer and the Hadozi is going to tell you what kind of stories that you can play in and how those stories are going to be told. Do we trust them to do a good job? I don't.
I don't trust them to do anything correctly at all. And I know it sounds like doom and gloom, but it really is. And here's the thing, there is a vast majority of the people playing D&D that don't care. Like, all of the crap that they have done, Wizards of the Coast has done, you have people that did not care at all until it was the stupidest thing, right? The OGL. People lost their minds about that, but the minute Wizards of the Coast backtracked on that, how long before they try it again? Then everybody was cool with AI art, the Pinkertons, the list goes on, but the minute they took microtransactions off of D&D Beyond, all of a sudden these people are like, how dare they? That's the last straw for me, until they put microtransact. What?
Well,
Of all the things, that's your last straw?
well, no, it's not. If you go back in time, you'll see this. You'll see the same thing was said with Spelljammer. You had all these big creators that are like, oh, I can't wait for Spelljammer to come out. And I'll be honest, I was really excited for the release of Spelljammer too. Then it releases. Then they have their outrage cycle for a week or 2 weeks talking about how problematic it is and how we shouldn't be playing Dungeons and Dragons and we should all leave and go play, of course, of all games, Pathfinder always comes up. And then, a week later, so 2 weeks total, they're back to promoting Dungeons and Dragons and talking about their awesome Spelljammer game that they're playing. OGL comes out. Same thing. This is horrible. We need to move. We need to stop playing. It's the same people saying it. They're outraged. They're professionally outraged. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks goes by and they're like, fuck it. I'm going to still play and promote Dungeons and Dragons because my entertainment. And it was the same for each one of those going through. Like, yes, it's the same people right now that are outraged about their microtransactions, and this is supposedly the last straw yet again. It's just, that's what irritates me the most about it. It's like, it's this faux outrage, and it's done, in my opinion, to chase clout. Like, we got to be outraged about this, which you should be. Like, don't get me wrong. These are outrageous things that Wizards has done. You should absolutely be mad about it, but you should stay mad. Have some convictions, yes, and follow through. Not, it's been 2 weeks and I really like the Dragon game and it's ultra inconvenient to buy a game that costs a third of the price and does the same types of stories, or I could get for free on their website. It's just that's ultra inconvenient to learn another rule system. So I'm okay with the game that puts in racist content and sticks the Pinkertons on people because my entertainment's more important. But I will definitely make sure to spend 5 minutes to chastise you on what kinds of stories you decide to put in your games because of my arbitrary line in the sand of what you should and shouldn't be playing at the table. Like,
Well, and here's my big thing with when it comes to people continuing to play D&D. You could play D&D for the rest of your life and never purchase another D&D book. You could never purchase another D&D book from anyone. You don't have to purchase it from Wizards of the Coast, Kobold Press. You don't ever have to buy another book, and you could play D&D the rest of your life with the books you already own and not support a shitty company. But they are actively making the decision that getting subpar products from this shitty company is more important than standing on morals. Like, I have not bought a book since Tasha's. I bought Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. That was the last book I bought, and that was because of a certain incident that we're going to talk about here pretty soon. I found out about that shortly after I bought Tasha's, and I made the decision then, I'm never buying another book from Wizards of the Coast. I will not purchase any product Wizards puts out, and I've stood on that conviction for years. And I watch these people, like you said, they're outraged for 2 weeks, and then they're back to playing D&D and promoting everything. And oh, look at this new book that came out. And I'm almost to the point that I don't even know how to feel about it. Right? Should I be mad? Should I just be disappointed? What should I be here? Because like obviously this company is never going to change. And maybe the only way for it to actually change is for it to die. But it's never going to die because you have such a vast majority of the community that doesn't care.
No.
They do not care.
They don't care.
All right. Why don't you pull up that job listing real quick, and let's go over some of the requirements of that to show what they're looking for and kind of validates our fears a little bit.
Yeah, so... So it's posted 13 days ago. They need 7 years of experience in an engineering lead capacity, proven experience with AI and ML systems in at least one of the following areas: simulation, asset creation, and generative content. You see, that's where I'm calling shenanigans on Wizards saying, we're not going to use it for generative stuff. Now, even if they only feed their own material in and use only that, that's a completely different problem. We can talk about that later. Ability to drive consensus on approaches and solutions for creating consistently high-quality game software. Knowledge and major advancements in AI. 2D and 3D content creation and audio generation. That tells me they're looking to generate images. But, it could go in line with the video game thing. Understanding the ethical ramifications of using AI in our work and being able to speak to ensure ethics are embedded in what we do. It's Wizards of the Coast. They don't do ethics. I'm sorry. They don't.
There is no ethical AI.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It is theft.
Yeah.
Even if it's not theft, the way AI works, it's not even worth getting in. It's just not ethical at this point. There are no ethical AI generation yet. Maybe there will be in the future, but right now there is none. So continue.
The responsibilities of the role, just quick ones, they're going to be this role, you'll be the most senior engineer within the team and partner with technical director to ensure all product is at WoTC are supported by the engineering efforts. And they will lead the new team to explore the uses of AI in game development, asset creation, and automated frameworks. Which, yes, video game stuff there too, but also that AI dungeon master that I was talking about falls into that realm as well.
Yeah. But, alright. Well, we both fully agree that this is a bad thing. This is very poor on the company to do this. Once again, don't support Wizards of the Coast. Support Tellarius Game Systems. Our good friend Tellarius, the creator of the Legends of Kralis, one of the most ethical and genuinely good people in the TTRPG space. Levi is amazing. We promote his game all the time. Go support him. He deserves your support more than anyone. We have a lot of people that we support that are doing the ethical thing. Dave Ward with Grimwood City, which is about to go to Kickstarter, which we will do a video when it goes Kickstarter. He did everything right. He hired artists. He didn't go the AI route. His game system looks unique and fun. There are people out there that are third party that are new creators that deserve your money, deserve your praise. And I feel like we should be pushing them instead of continuing to support the $1 billion bad guy.
Absolutely.
So, Want to go to the next topic?
You know what? I will move over to the image and I will let you take it away.
So,
There he is.
Chaosium, the creators of Call of Cthulhu, hired Mike fucking Mearls as their lead executive producer of RPGs. Mike fucking Mearls, the man who doxed abuse victims to their abuser, defended that abuser to the point that people had a hashtag Fire Mike Mearls to try to get him fired from Wizards of the Coast. For years, they kept him on knowing the shitty things that he did. And then, when he was released with the layoffs, finally, after 4 fucking years, sorry for my cursing, I hate this guy, Chaosium hired him. Call of Cthulhu hired him despite all of the bad reputation behind him. A quick Google search, Mike Mearls controversy Wizards of the Coast, and you will see everything that is said about him. And they hired him anyway. Screw Chaosium. Don't buy another book from them. Screw Questing Beast, who's another YouTube creator who just platformed this asshole and then defended him in his Discord channel. Anyone who associates with Mike Mearls, I will not support, and no one should ever support again. He is a piece of shit. He does not deserve any attention. He does not deserve to be platformed. He does not deserve to be in this industry. There are amazing creators in the TTRPG space who are unemployed, who need a job, and they give it to this shithead instead of those people. It is disgusting and sickening. And if you want to play something else,
I have one suggestion if you are looking into the Call of Cthulhu area, and that's this game, Delta Green. I picked this up last summer, I want to say. 2 years ago, maybe? But it is Call of Cthulhu that runs a system a little bit more familiar for people who are into D&D. Stats are generated using the 3-die-6 method. There's also stat arrays and all that kind of stuff. It is more of a modern setting instead of like the 1920s, at least base in the game. However, that being said, it's not like you can't do just a couple quick adjustments and make it fit the original timeline for Call of Cthulhu. I personally prefer this one because it feels more familiar than the D100 Call of Cthulhu. Don't get me wrong, I'll say it, but I enjoyed playing Call of Cthulhu until all this stuff happened. But this is a bridge too far for me, especially when there's a company that you can get that does a good job and isn't, hiring shitheads.
Yeah. There are a few Call of Cthulhu-esque systems out there. If you really look for them, you can find some that are... Honestly, it's a shame. Call of Cthulhu was a good game. I enjoyed it. I've played it a bunch. But if you're gonna hire a guy like Mike Mearls, I can't support you anymore. I can't play that game in good conscience. I cannot support that company. And honestly, if you're looking for a rules light, kind of like horror game, but kind of a little more fun, The Crypt is Open, Jeffrey N. Baker, we've had him on the channel. His game, The Crypt is Open, is free in playtesting right now. It's a lot of fun. It's a little more high-powered than Call of Cthulhu. You're not going to die as much. But it is another game that fits that horror vibe and that, like, apocalyptic, end-of-the-world type stuff. But ultimately, just don't support Chaosium. They don't deserve it. If you're gonna hire this guy, you prove that you don't care. And I'm all about doing the right thing. And honestly, with everything that was said about him, hiring him is not the right thing.
No.
And like I said earlier, the reason I stopped buying Wizards of the Coast products after Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is because I heard about the Mike Mearls stuff. This is the guy. Him not being let go by Wizards of the Coast is the reason I do not purchase Wizards of the Coast stuff. It was my line in the sand. It was when I said I'm done as long as this guy is employed. And they didn't fire him because they wanted to. They fired him because they laid off 1,000 employees and couldn't justify keeping him. That's it. They didn't want to fire him. So to me, that was my line. I didn't cross it. I've not bought a book from Wizards since, and I will not buy another book from Chaosium until they fire him. I emailed them. I spoke out. I did all I could. I emailed them. I said we were going to do a video on this podcast. I was going to do videos on my TikTok, which I have, and I'm going to stand by that conviction.
Here's the question. Did they respond to you?
No.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah, right. I would have loved if they did. I would have put that on this show. I would have sent that email over to you. We would have blasted them if they replied to me. But if they do, we'll do a video. But they have never replied.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Neither do I. But they do have a Google page. If you search up their address, you can leave Google reviews.
Yep. I encourage you to do a Google review and just leave the comment #fire Mike Mearls.
Yeah.
That's it. Just fire Mike Mearls. It will get the point across. And hopefully, maybe they'll listen if enough people do it. I believe the petition that went around for Wizards of the Coast had like 200,000 signatures. That's a big portion of the player base, and Wizards of the Coast just did not care. In fact, they lied. Wizards of the Coast just moved him to another division and said that he wasn't with the company anymore. And then Jeremy Crawford, the Sage Advice guy, goes, "Oh no, he's still with us. He's just moved to another division."
Yeah.
Wizards
That irritated me. That irritated me so much. And again, it's just another one. It's like, when are you going to stop believing? When does WoTC lie? When they're talking.
Yeah, they open their mouths. It's a lie.
When are people going to believe what a lot of people are saying, that they're a garbage company? They don't care about the consumers, the players. They only care about profit. That's it.
And 100%. Well, I don't know about you, Eric, but I don't have anything else to say about the situation. I am pretty much tapped out.
Oh my God.
Voiced my outrage.
Yeah. Nope, that's it.
So, well, anyways, thank you all for this breaking news edition of Ronin's Den. If you are watching, thank you for listening to us rant about this, and I hope you care about it as much as we do. And yeah, I'm Steve. That's Eric. We are Ronin's Den, and we will see you in the next one.
Take care.